Hello, and welcome to today's HCPA training course. Today I'll introduce to you the new updates to the Huawei ES3000 series SSDs and their application scenarios. In this course, we will look at the following three parts. First, we will learn about the trends in the enterprise SSD industry. Then we will cover a product introduction for the Huawei ES3000 series SSDs. In the third part of this course, we will go through some specific cases that show the application acceleration effect of ES3000. The global sales revenue of enterprise SSDs was $8.36 billion in 2016, with a growth rate of 33% compared to 2015. SSD opportunity markets include the US, Europe, the Middle East, China, Japan, South Korea, and India. The US is the largest market, with Europe, the Middle East and Africa, China, and Japan coming behind. All of them are valuable markets, however. Enterprise SSD shipments are growing rapidly. The number of shipments for enterprise SSDs was higher than that of SAS HDDs in 2017. NVMe PCIe SSDs provide up to 800,000 IOPS, while SAS SSDs provide 200,000 IOPS, and SATA SSDs provide 84,000 IOPS. SSD performance is over 100 times better than that of HDDs, and PCIe SSD performance is more than 10 times better than that of SATA SSDs. Huawei has over 10 years of experience in SSD development. In 2005, we sold our servers to Baidu, the Chinese counterpart to Google. Baidu was storing all of its data in local HDDs, resulting in poor performance, so we knew that we could help them improve their online search service. When lots of users were searching online, disk IOs couldn't support their requests. As a result, everyone had to wait a long time for results. To address this issue, Baidu and Huawei set up a joint lab to research and develop SSD products. In 2007, the first generation PCIe SSD was released, which helped Baidu eliminate this bottleneck. In following years, Tencent and Alibaba also began to use PCIe SSDs. In 2016, we released the 6th generation ES3000 V3 NVMe SSD and SAS SSD, and this year we will release the new generation SSD, ES3000 V5. Huawei ES3000 SSDs have over 150 core technology patents, building on over a decade of R&D experience that Huawei brings to the table. They use Huawei-designed SSD controller chips. Huawei NVMe SSDs were evaluated by StorageReview.com, which is a free flash device evaluation group. Their testing reports are an authoritative reference in the IT industry. The IOPS and latency performance of Huawei's ES3600 V3 NVMe SSDs was the best of all of the NVMe SSDs evaluated, including Intel and Samsung's products. These are the ES3000 V3 series SSDs that are currently released, including the NVMe SSD disk, NVMe SSD card, and SAS SSD. Specific details for each product are shown in the table. You can obtain documentation for Huawei ES3000 SSDs, such as white papers, datasheets, and the like, by following these links to the Huawei Enterprise website. All Huawei servers, including rack servers, blade servers, and high-density servers, support NVMe SSD disks. Let's take a look at how to connect an NVMe SSD disk in an NVMe server. This topology shows a traditional server HDD connections where all SATA and SAS HDDs are connected to a RAID card. In an NVMe server, we need to insert a PCIe adapter card, designed by Huawei, into a PCIe slot. The adapter card connects to an HDD backplane through 4 PCIe cables. The HDD backplane needs to be redesigned to support PCIe signals so that the Huawei server can support NVMe SSDs and SATA or SAS HDDs at the same time. SSDs can replace HDDs directly, but we suggest that we use SSDs for high-value applications, such as virtualization, database, cloud, big data, and distributed storage, with cache and tiered storage use methods. Baidu was the first customer of Huawei PCIe SSDs in 2017. They used PCIe SSDs in their searching service and improved performance by over 10 times. In the old searching system, all contents were stored on local HDDs on servers. The low-speed HDDs seriously affected the content searching time, and when users searched something, they needed to wait for a few seconds in order to get the results. We added a PCIe SSD card into the searching server as a hot data cache. The searching time was reduced within 1 second, and Search System's daily service capacity was increased from 600 million to 5 billion searches. In MySQL applications, We can use NVMe SSDs to replace HDD or SATA SSDs to store database logs and files. Here we have a case from Didi Duanche, a popular ride-hailing service in China. Their MySQL server resources had no bottlenecks, but the performance could not be further improved. We used 1 TB NVMe SSD disks to replace 7 800 GB SATA SSDs to store database files, which ended up doubling their database performance. On the Huawei Cloud platform, we use NVMe SSDs as the hot block cache, solving bootstorm problems, and we were able to deploy over 80 VMs on one cloud server. VMware vSAN is very popular. Huawei's ES3000 SSD has been certified by VMware vSAN. We can use it to build an all NVMe SSD vSAN. In the case of the City University of Hong Kong, we used 3 all NVMe SSD vSAN nodes to replace 4 hybrid vSAN nodes, and the I/O performance improved by over 10 times. For open source distributed storage systems, we can also use NVMe SSDs to build a hybrid or all NVMe storage system. In the case of WeChat's Ceph key value storage system, the old system used SATA SSDs, and they upgraded it to NVMe SSDs, doubling I/O performance. Discovering new applications for big data is a popular trend these days, and we can use NVMe SSDs to improve analysis speeds. For the Hadoop system, the HDFS consisted of low-speed SATA disks, and the bandwidth was very low. We used HDFS tiered storage and added an NVMe SSD as the hot data layer. The HDFS bandwidth increased by 60%, and HBase performance was doubled. In the Spark system, memory capacity could not support all of the computing process data, and the data needed to be restored to HDFS. We added an NVMe SSD as the shuffle intermediary layer for data exchange and the HDFS hot data layer to reduce data exchange time. The Spark real-time analysis speed improved by 40%. That's all for today's training session. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.